Healing after narcissistic abuse is the most confusing experience a person can have. I was unable to point out the head from tail of what a healing journey was all about. To sort this out, I sought professional help, given the seriousness of my situation. Since the age of 17, I have visited over 10 psychologists. Today I'm 34 years old. It was only at the age of 30, and it was only one out of these 10 psychologists who revealed the term narcissistic abuse to me and explained what I had been going through my entire life. One of my psychologists would hear me go on and on about my childhood, trauma, and this would trigger my trauma, appointment after appointment, and he would leave me triggered and leave me with no tools to cope. The psychologist after that molested me. The one after that told me that if I am not willing to accept his expensive plan of treatment and drugs, he will never see me again. The one after that gave me doses of psychiatric medication. This was a psychiatrist. The psychologist after the psychiatrist gave me a wrong diagnosis on purpose. And I knew that it was on purpose because he was very well versed with my mother being a narcissist and having the personality disorder. He knew the kind of person she was. And the psychologist even specialized in trauma, in treating trauma after narcissistic abuse. But he gave me a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. This kept me in a state of confusion. I was trying to heal from a personality disorder I did not even have. I was not informed anything about maintaining boundaries with my family or what they were doing to feed my trauma. He never revealed anything. He would listen to all my family drama like it was some movie drama. For him, it was gossip. I was someone who was giving him a steady line of appointments, years after years. I'm not even sorry that I sound so horrible talking about my experience with the world of mental health professionals. This is my experience, and I need to express it as it is. It was not until I turned 30 and I met this psychologist who revealed the term narcissistic personality disorder and how it had affected me. It was she who clarified I had complex PTSD and not borderline personality disorder. She explained my family dynamics to me, and I finally was able to make sense. And I finally understood my life, which was a puzzle that I was stuck in my entire life. Just imagine you are the black sheep of the family, and you have believed everything your family has told you so far about you being worthless, hopeless, and all of that. Yet, out of deep confusion and pain, you go seek professional help, and they mislead you further. These professionals I saw knew about the toxic dynamics in my family. I would narrate the entire dynamics, and I had believed that I was defective, that something was inherently wrong with me, which is what my family had convinced me of. And these professionals, these psychologists that I met, they let me believe it. They would just nod their head, listen to me and nod their head. They would not go on to explain what was actually happening and who and what role I was playing in my family and what was really going on. How cruel, how unbelievably cruel was that experience of seeing these professionals who were not bothered, absolutely unbothered. Unfortunately for me, I had only met psychologists who were interested in giving me an appointment schedule so that they could get more appointments from me. They were not interested in my well-being. When I discussed the wrong diagnosis that I received of borderline personality disorder, I discussed it with my friends and family. Unfortunately for me, I should not have done that. I did. And I found that people ended up distancing themselves from me because BPD has a very bad reputation. And my ex-husband at the time developed a horrible understanding about me because of this diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. And it was one of the main reasons which finally led to our divorce. Seeing these psychologists who were only after appointments and who were not at all bothered about my well-being, it led to me losing friends, losing jobs, losing my marriage, and a lot of other things. Had I received a timely diagnosis today, I would have been in a very different place in my life, and I would have gone no contact with my narcissistic mother long ago, long ago. So this is why I'm making this video, so that you do not have to go through what I went through, so that you are well informed about what to expect when you step out into this crazy world and meet crazy mental health professionals. I'm not even sorry that I sound so horrible, because I am very well aware of how horrible it can get. The psychologist who gave me the diagnosis and helped me understand everything in a clear fashion also ended up doing something super unethical, which ended my round of appointments with her. I had to stop seeing her. In one of the text messages we were exchanging, she casually mentioned how if I, ended up in the psych ward somehow, there'd be no one to come pick me up. Since I have gone no contact with my family and moved continents, I am not surrounded by friends or family. Her comment about me ending up in the psych ward and no one being there to pick me up, with stuck out tongue, winky eye emoji at the end of the message, was somehow nowhere near funny to me. I can never understand a sense of humor which picks on someone's misfortunes. She was my therapist, that I loved so much because she was the one who revealed the mystery that was my life. She was the one who empowered me with talks about healing after narcissistic abuse. Being a black sheep herself, she was what I called the wounded healer. Wounded healers wound, and that is that. When you are not careful about your own shadow, it only grows bigger and bigger. I met 3 more counselors after her, again pushing me to book appointments because they book out quickly. When I spoke to one of them about having breathing issues due to anxiety, she recommended a lung function test. I mean, here I am grappling with anxiety instead of having helpful chats about how complex trauma affects breathing. She was off sending me for tests as though I have some congenital heart disease. They just want you running around in circles. The last counselor asked me to stop seeing other professionals and only see her, and book out at least 10 of her appointments before we start. It was like I was on a merry-go-round with these crazy clowns seated next to me, who were passing me around to each other with their evil laughs. Finally, I did find someone who's a good psychologist, and he's a wonderful man. He's so interesting to work with. It was not until I read Bessel Kolk's Body Keeps the Score, not until I watched some videos on YouTube, that I started making headway on my healing journey. So here's your takeaway from this video. If you notice the red flags right from the start, and you keep hunting for a good psychologist, you will eventually end up finding one, like I did. It doesn't have to take you 17 years, like it did for me, to get all your answers. But let me list the red flags that you need to watch out for when you go see a therapist. Are they pushing you for booking the next appointment? Are they letting you do all the talking without giving you enough information about what exactly is going on in your life? Does it feel like your sessions with them never seem to give you a clear picture of what is going on with you? Are they validating the abusers in any way? Are they invalidating your experience or playing them down? Do you see any tendencies of sarcasm, condescension, or scapegoating they are doing with you? Are they trying to sell you a set of appointments too, and asking you to commit to therapy with them exclusively? Are they engaging in unnecessary conversation with you outside of the scope of therapist-client relationship? When you speak about your abusive family, do they listen in like it is some saucy show, or are they glued to what you have to say next like it is some drama? Do they seem detached from your pain and do not talk much? Are they being flirtatious and making a move on you? These are all the red flags that I can think of, and I'm sure there are 100 more. The only way you can tell what a red flag is by tuning into your system. If something feels off, something is off. Listen to what your heart has to say, what your gut has to say, what your intuition is trying to tell you. If you're running around in circles, which is what, happened to me, then you need to see and go look for a new therapist. Well, from my experiences, the only conclusion, not the only conclusion, a couple of conclusions that I have come to is that I should always see more than one therapist, that I should always get a diagnosis from more than one psychologist or a psychiatrist. And don't let them know that you're seeing other professionals. They will ask you about it. Quite honestly, they're not supposed to. It's none of their business. But they will. Cross-check what one professional has to say, one therapist has to say with your other therapist, and see what their opinion is. Do not give them an impression that, you have any knowledge about healing or psychology or what has happened to you. This will give you an idea of whether they are genuine with you or not. My psychologist was talking about the HPA axis alignment that happens when you learn to dance, and this helps in healing trauma. HPA axis alignment is the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis. When I tried to clarify what the HPA axis was, my therapist went quiet and changed the topic of conversation. You see how they do not want you to know more? But information is available through books and videos. Too bad. Too bad for them. I see a psychologist, psychiatrist, life coach, spiritual counselor, an energy healer. These are the many people I choose to have to move forward with my healing journey. The more the merrier, if you ask me. They will all present you with many dimensions and perspectives. It'll all be useful in one way or another. A fresh perspective is always life-changing. So these are the conclusions that I have drawn, and these are the decisions that I've made through, due to the unfortunate experiences that I've had. Mind you, in saying all this, I'm not saying that there aren't any good therapists out there. There are, which is how I found mine. We just have to keep looking without giving up, no matter how many years it takes. The bottom line is, do not trust anyone but yourself. You may not trust yourself again after going through narcissistic abuse. This is okay. With each experience where you ignore your intuition and then you face the very thing you anticipated, you will begin to trust yourself. You will learn. Your body becomes your guide after your abuse. When you go near terrible people or bad situations, your body will trigger a very bad reaction. It'll be this heart rate that goes up, or this anxiety that you feel. This is your body warning you. They may not be saying and doing things on the face of it, but your body becomes like your superpower. It starts to speak to you. So listen to it. So since you've gone through abuse, like, you will find it hard to meet good people in the beginning. As you start healing, better people will start walking into your life, including better mental health professionals. Conning, abuse, malpractice, unethical behavior, it's present in this world in every field of work. So it is present in the field of mental health professionals as well. These practitioners, in order to find the right one, you have to use your gut, judgment, discernment, intuition to make a call on who you want to see and if you want to see them. I hope this talk has given you some information and some new perspectives on what to expect when you meet mental health professionals. Never give up on finding the right person. The key is to keep looking to help you with your healing journey. You will find them in time, and it will be worth the wait and effort. When I say wait, I don't mean that you keep waiting. What I'm trying to say over here is that you keep looking, one psychologist after another. You will definitely find the therapist that is meant for you in time. So, in the meantime, I don't know how you are placed at the moment. Maybe you do have a nice therapist, or that you are looking for someone. There are some resources that I used which gave me a good starting point in my healing journey. So I'll just leave the list in the description below so that you can have a look at them. But I'll just talk about it briefly so you have an idea of what the list is all about. The first book that I read, which really helped me, was The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. It gives you an idea of how trauma affects us and how you can heal it. There's another book by Teal, Swan, called The Completion Process. This book helped me with being able to walk into very difficult emotions that I still have in my system, but I have not exactly processed them because they're way too painful. So she talks about how processing all these, unfinished emotions in your body can help you, move forward in your healing journey. The third book that I read was Codependent No More by Beattie. If you want to understand what codependency is and how you can overcome it, this book is a good read because it gives you a very good idea of, what exactly makes you attractive to a narcissist. So if you can heal your codependency, you will see that narcissists are not as attracted to you anymore as they were in the past. That connection won't be there. So this book by Beattie was really helpful in that. The fourth was a workbook. I'm still using it. It's called the Complex PTSD Workbook by Arielle Schwartz. You can have a look at it yourself. It's just, things that you can work through when you have complex PTSD. The same as with the other book that I'm going to mention, which is Somatic Psychotherapy Toolbox by Manuela reads. The sixth one that I want to mention is Coping with Trauma-Related Dissociation by Suzette, Boon, and Steele. There's another author, I'm not sure right now. And of course I have workbooks on Inner Child Healing and Shadow Work by the LonerWolf shop. These are physical resources that I have in my hands, that I have access to, and that I keep using and I keep revisiting because healing happens in layers, and you just have to keep. Every time I revisit these books, I read the same information, but I find that my understanding has somehow deepened, and I'm able to use the same information in a very different way to be able to heal. And on Instagram, I watch anyone who speaks about nervous system regulation. I just follow them. I like Sarah Baldwin's videos on the nervous system. On YouTube, I watch videos about healing codependencies, building healthier self-esteem, maintaining stronger boundaries, and more videos about self-love. Now, Aaron Doughty has some great content about building a better identity, and he himself has gone through narcissistic abuse, so it's really helpful. He also talks about how to build strong boundaries and heal codependencies. He gives you practical tips, which are really great. Ross Rosenberg is a psychologist, a mental health professional. He's really good with the information that he imparts. Please note that every resource that I access, every video that I watch, any social content, media content that I access and that I consume is not about the narcissist, because this is not about the narcissist. It is about you healing you. So they're all centered around what I can heal within myself, so that narcissists are not attracted to me and I'm not attracted to them anymore. So that is that. And also on YouTube, I watch a lot of videos about nervous system regulation and breath work. I really love doing a lot of work with my breath and my body, because it helps me feel like a brand new person at the end of it. So if you have any questions about my experience or any of the resources that I'm using or any other information that you would like to know, please leave me a comment below and I will respond. And I hope you have found this video helpful. I thought I should just put this information out there so that people who are visiting psychologists and are at sea with what they're experiencing will get a fresh perspective about what is going on, and you can take action in the right direction. Thank you very much for listening to me. I wish you all the best on your healing journey.